I'm sitting here at the Fred Smith Center with new Arkansas defensive coordinator, Barry Odom. Barry, welcome to the Hill.
Great to see you, man. Glad to be here.
Talk about the transition. Barry, you guys, instantly you come to campus roughly about 2 days after Coach Pittman gets the job. You have a hosting weekend, have to get out and recruit 3 commits. Not a lot of time to put together what you guys were able to put together, but did an amazing job. Talk about, how stressful that was, or, what was that process like?
Well, really, when I got the phone call and got the job offered to me and said yes, my wife and 3 kids, we jumped in the car and drove to campus. That was on a Friday because I knew there was an official visit weekend. I wanted to get around those guys, and I wanted to get around Coach Pittman. So from that moment until sitting here today, I feel like it's kind of been on fast forward. Just you're going and getting adjusted and trying to start to build relationships with your team. That's the most important thing. And now that we can't be on the road in February, that's going to be such a huge part of what we're trying to get done. But also this staff working together and the direct approach that Coach Pittman gave us and the way that he charged us with going out and let's hit these numbers and these spots. He did a great job from starting on whatever weekend that was to finishing yesterday. I would feel pretty strongly saying if you just looked at recruiting rankings, I don't know anybody that's ever started at 118 and finished 29 in basically a month's time. Coach Pittman needs a lot of credit for that on how he assembled the staff and then how, with a direct approach, he went and got it done.
Talk about your defensive philosophy. What will that be like here at Arkansas? Will it be aggressive style, or how does Barry Odom?
The thing that I want to really take a hard look at is what we currently have on our roster, and then the coaches that have success over long periods of time, they're able to adjust to the personnel that they have. I could go draw up a blitz from the field and the boundary and all that, but if our kids can't do it, it's of no value. We've got to be great teachers, but we also have to give them a skill set, a tool belt on what they can go do, put them in position to use the skills that they've got where they can go play fast and they can play confident and they can play free, but doing it within the structure of how we're going to play. But if you look at toughness and grit and playing together and playing hard and doing it for 4 quarters and finding ways to get off the field, either turnovers or takeaways, third down percentage, all those things go into core beliefs and values and foundational approach on building the defense. But man, if you can get the guys playing together and getting them playing hard and finding ways that they care about the guy lined up next to them a lot more than anything else, now you're starting to make some ground up. So schematically, we'll have a...
Hello. It's our Wednesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479, coming to you Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And we let you hear audio because we still try to give you bits and pieces. For those that may have missed some of the interviews, some of the, the bits and pieces, the scuttlebutt, the schematic talk that we've had with the Arkansas Razorback football staff over these coming months since the COVID kind of erased spring ball. This is what you get, and this is what we try to give you as best we can. But we got a really good show today. I mean, a really good show. The SEC, it just means more. And, it's time for us to get back to, getting in that caravan every so often. And there's one school in particular that I'm pretty sure you've heard Demetrius and myself talk about. And it's up in Rocky Top, up in Knoxville, Tennessee. They're doing some things on the recruiting trail that got some eyes and some people around the country, and really in particular in the SEC, really looking at in all country. So we're going to talk to Nathaniel Rutherford of Rocky Top Insider. We're going to talk to Nathaniel and see Jeremy Pruitt and even Coach Barnes on the basketball side, how they're starting to really put the brand out there in the Tennessee way. And then we're going to be followed up. We're going to make our way to Suffolk, Virginia, where we're going to talk to King Fort 2022 point guard Jayden Epps. He's newly offered Razorback by Coach Musselman and staff. We'll find out what JE has to say about the University of Arkansas as it's the early interest. This kid's got a lot of options, and we'll get in more in depth with Jayden. And then we're going to make our way the whole guys don't stop. I'm telling you, just don't stop, Demetrius. We got a good show. We're going to Oklahoma City where we're going to catch up with 2021 four-star. Yes, I did say four-star and high prospect for Coach Eric Musselman, Chris Crutchfield, and staff. We're going to talk to Trey Alexander of Heritage Hall High School, and boy, does he have a lot to say about Coach Crutchfield. The relationship is real strong, and we're going to share that with you as we move into the show. But over to my co-host, the man behind the scenes, D-Mo. Talk to me.
What's happening with it, Pat?
Right, man. Really excited about today's show. You and I were here momentarily going to be joined by Nathaniel Rutherford of Rocky Top Insider, the guy that knows all when we talk recruiting in the Tennessee orange and white. Man, how tremendous is this? A team that's been very bad. It just seems like each and every day, D, they're signing a 4 or 5 star kid. I know Jayden, a young man, a quarterback out of Cedar Hill, Texas, Arkansas coveted, Jayden Salter decided to be a Tennessee Vol, and there seems to be a groundswell with Jeremy Pruitt in that recruiting. I mean, how interested are you to hear what Nate has to say about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I really want to hear his take, you know, because it is kind of surprising just to see the success that Jeremy Pruitt is having in such a short span. I know they did have a little stint at the end of the year where they were stringing some games together, and they did kind of ended up putting some games together, like I said, and I think it's surprising again to get the number one player in the country, let alone the state, right. Number one player in the country to commit to your school with not too many SEC wins the last couple of years.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to continue on. We got to get going. I'm talking about we have no time to wait, because if we do, we're going to not touch base with what we need to give you today. We want to give it all the way. You see what I'm saying? All the way in the paint, all the way on the field. And even more so, we caught up with a couple more coaches. I think we're going to play more of the Barry Odom.
More Barry Odom.
We're going to give you more of a Coach O and his schematic philosophy that he's bringing to the University of Arkansas. And then when we come back, heading to Knoxville, we're going to catch up with Rocky Top's insiders, Nathaniel Rutherford. Talk a little Vols recruiting. It's on the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
Tried for a long time to get Coach Pittman hired and where we could work together. And it's hard to do in this business. It's hard to get aligned with those things, and this was an opportunity that when it came open, really of all the options that I had out there, I zeroed in on this one because of a number of things and the reasons why. But I wanted to work for Coach Pittman, and the trust I have in him, the way that he's going to run the program, those stood out at the top for me. The passion and the energy of this fan base, of this state, of this university, I wanted to be a part of it.
What makes recruiting to the SEC so much more different than any other Power 5 conference in your opinion?
Yeah, I think you look at the brand of ball that's played in this conference. You look at the success that this conference has had since we started. You look at the draft picks that this conference has compared to the next conference. It's not close. It's not ever going to be close. And that starts with recruiting and then the development of those players. Obviously a huge emphasis and the energy and the passion of no matter where you go in the conference, where you're playing, you better be ready to play your best or it's going to get exposed.
My last question I have for you, Barry. When you go out and recruit, what's the one thing that Coach Barry Odom looks above all else, for kids that he wants to really possibly talk about being a part of Arkansas with a scholarship?
Yeah, but there's so many intangible qualities. There's measurables and all those things, but I want guys that want to be a Razorback. I want guys that want to be here, and I want guys that are going to play the game the right way. Okay, there's a number of qualities that go into it, but those that have toughness and character and the want to be here, they're always going to stand out. And guys that it's important to. I don't give promises recruiting. I want to treat them just exactly like they're my son, and I'm going to love them up. I'm going to teach them. I'm going to provide for them. I want to promise you that you walk away here from the University of Arkansas with a college degree. That's important. and I'm going to treat them just like they're my son. Thanks. Yep, appreciate
Glad to
it.
have you here.
Enjoyed visiting with you guys.
I'm here at the Fred Smith Center, and I'm joined by new offensive coordinator, quarterback coach Kim McGraw. Kim, welcome to the Hill, my man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Talk about the transition, of moving from Tallahassee, Florida to Fayetteville, recruiting having a short window. How has that transition gone up to this point, Coach?
It's been fast, and it is when you go into it. You got, I think they might have signed 7 guys in the first signing period. That may be incorrect, but it was somewhere down in there. So you knew you had some legwork. Didn't get in the first staff meeting.
I like chicken and waffles. What's a good place I can get some chicken and waffles? I know. KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. Get on down there and see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that loving. Like they say on their building, it's not your mama's. The best chicken and waffles in the South. They even got chicken wings, and they got these things called loaded fries. I think you might want to get on down there. Meet me down there or see me down there. KDK's Chicken at 989 Razorback Road. Welcome back to our Wednesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479. And Arkansas in the SEC, they make an emphasis on recruiting, but everyone makes an emphasis on recruiting because it does just mean more. And there's no place more so where it's meaning more at the moment than in Knoxville, Tennessee. So we thought we'd check it out because there's a lot of rumbling going on in Rocky Top. So we thought we'd catch up with Rocky Top insiders, Nathaniel Rutherford. Nate, welcome to OTH, my man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Nate, to get off into the recruiting run that Jeremy Pruitt and that staff have been on, seemingly, Nate, for like the last 2 or 3 weeks. Talk about that and, what's the feeling heading into Knoxville going forward?
Yeah, I don't, in my lifetime, and I think in the modern recruiting era, I don't know that we've seen that type of run from Tennessee. I don't follow, obviously, recruiting is hard for every other school, but at least for Tennessee, I can't think of a time where we've seen this type of run over a 15, 16-day period where you picked up, I think, 11, 12 commits in that one span. It wasn't just, a bunch of 3-stars and stuff. You picked up 2 5-stars, you picked up a handful of 4-stars, the number 1 JUCO running back in the country in the 21 class. I mean, it was a lot of really high-profile guys, too. That has a lot of fans, understandably so, very excited for the future. I think it kind of lends itself to a little bit of hype also for the 2020 season, but obviously these guys aren't going to be playing this upcoming season, so it's not going to, they can't help out. But I think it does make it more important that this 2020 season be a success, and success can be, different definitions of that, but I think it means that Tennessee, at least in my opinion, they can't afford to go out and do what they did last year and kind of fall flat in their face. They recovered very strong. I don't think they can afford that this year. I think at minimum this season you have to go about 8-4 in the regular season to maintain the top guys you have right now, and to maybe land a couple more.
When you look forward and you look at the job that Jeremy Pruitt has done there, I mean, the recruiting has picked up each and every year from where I sit over in Arkansas, and they've been a young team, but as you said, Nate, they kind of got on a strong run there on the football field and translated that into picking up some kids in last year's class there on signing day that may have flipped over from maybe an Arkansas or an Auburn and come Tennessee's way. When you look at the future, who are some of the players, Nate, that signed in this incoming class that we might want to keep an eye out, possibly to get some early playing time for Coach Pruitt and that staff?
Well, if there'd been a regular spring, obviously all the SEC, all of college football had their springs shortened. Tennessee only got to go through 2 practices, didn't get to do a spring game. If there'd been a regular spring, I would say you'd probably be wanting to keep an eye on the incoming freshman quarterback, Harrison Bailey, who was the 5-star rival as a top 100 quarterback on 247. But without him being able to go through a spring as an early enrollee and really getting to dive into that offense, I still think Jarrett Garantano is going to be Tennessee's starting quarterback to begin the year. But there are plenty of other young guys and incoming guys from this class that you can look at as potential instant impact type of players. I think one that really immediately stands out is Keyshawn Lawrence, was a guy in the state of Tennessee who's one of the top safeties, one of the top prospects overall in Tennessee. I think he could come in and battle potentially for a starting spot in that secondary. Tennessee returns a lot of guys, but they did lose Niger Warrior, and the other spot beside Warrior is kind of open too. So you have two safety spots where you can see Keyshawn come in and potentially play. There are a couple other guys. I think one that you might want to keep an eye on that maybe a lot of people, I won't say a lot of people, but some people probably are sleeping on a little bit, is a 4-star by the name of Mormon Joseph, who Tennessee got on National Signing Day this past in February.
Right.
I love his potential. That kid, if you go and watch his film, he is a violent tackler. He plays with a lot of energy. He plays very smart, too. He can play multiple positions. I love him coming off the edge in this 3-4 defense. Him or Tyler Barron, who is another in-state kid for Tennessee. I think one of those two guys are going to line up and potentially play starting one of the outside linebacker roles with Tennessee, because I just love their potential as guys coming off the edge with Tennessee losing Darrell Taylor, not really having anyone else to kind of fill his shoes. I think it's going to kind of fall on one of the young guys to come in and do that. So those are kind of the main ones. There are a few other ones you could sprinkle in here and there, but I think those for sure are the ones I've circled as pretty early instant impact type of guys.
Nate, when you look at the coaching staff, there's been some new coaching changes, some players that's come back, former players now on the coaching staff at running back and a few other positions. How much of an impact have you seen that have when, say, a former player is on staff and he's out selling Tennessee University to these potential recruits? Has that been what you think could possibly be the impact and the uptick in this 21 class that they're putting together?
I think that's part of it. Obviously, T. Martin, Jay Graham, those two guys played at Tennessee at a high level. T. Martin won a championship. Jay Graham is one of the better running backs Tennessee has had in modern football. Those guys know what it means to play at Tennessee. They know what it means to don the orange and white. They know what it means to have that power T on your helmet. So they can sell Tennessee in a unique way that no one else in that staff can. Obviously Jim Chaney has coached at Tennessee before. He didn't play here.
Right.
Phil Fulmer, T. Martin, Jay Graham, all those guys know what it means to play at Tennessee. They can sell it better. I also think, though, I think that's a good point. I think that is kind of helping Tennessee, because you look at two of the top recruiters are T. Martin and Jay Graham. Derek Ansley, who's been a coach here, I think he's number 2 on the 247 recruiting rankings right now for coaches.
Right.
But I think part of you look at why they've had this much success is this coaching staff has 3 coaches on here who have been the 247 Sports Recruiter of the Year at one point in their careers. You have T. Martin, obviously Jeremy Pruitt was as well, and then Brian Niedermeyer was a couple years ago. And Derek Ansley has flirted with it before, and he's flirting with it now. And Jay Graham's been a good recruiter too. So this staff they are built to recruit, and Jeremy Pruitt loves to recruit. I would say he's probably one of, if not the best recruiters of the head coach in the SEC. This staff is just built to recruit. They do a really good job forming relationships, and they finally have some kind of on-field success to sell from the way they ended last season. You finally got some guys drafted into the NFL with Jawan Jennings and Darrell Taylor. So you have some things you can finally sell now, as opposed to just selling playing time and just selling, hey, here's some hope. You finally can point to and say, hey, look at the development of this guy. Look at the development of this guy. Look what we did with this. We can do that with you. So they finally have some things they can sell. Couple that with the way that these guys have always been good at recruiting everywhere they've been, and you're finally starting to see, the 2020 class, you saw some results of that. Tennessee got a top 10 class. This class, if everything goes, according to plan, it could be a top 5 class for sure.
Talking with Nathaniel Rutherford, one of the big dogs, I'm going to call him, a guy that knows all when it's pertaining to balls, recruiting in all forms. I want to flip over to the basketball side of things, and Coach Rick Barnes. It came out, he signed a top 5 class, I believe the year prior, another really good class, and he's been doing that throughout his time since he hit Knoxville. Talk about, what he's been able to do, and, with 4, I believe, or 5 of the top 10 classes incoming in the 20 class, what's the future of basketball in Knoxville, and just what do you see as a whole going forward in the conference?
Yeah, I think as excited as fans are for what football's future has, I personally know, as I'm a big basketball fan, I like both football and basketball, but I think I'm a bigger basketball fan than football. I'm even more excited for what basketball has, because you look at what Tennessee's doing in basketball recruiting right now with Rick Barnes, and I've never seen this with Tennessee recruiting. Not down to Bruce Pearl, not even with Conzo Martin. I'm definitely not with Buzz Peterson or anything like that. I think you could maybe go back, way back to before my time. You look back to the Ray Mears era, and obviously back then you look at Bernard King, Ernie Grunfeld, those type of guys. You can look at Dale Ellis and whatnot, Reggie Johnson too. But I think what you're seeing here, they brought in a top 5 class in this 2020 cycle with Jayden Springer, Keon Johnson, Corey Walker. They're top 6 guys they're in on right now who they're in the top 10, top 5 finalist group with. for this 2021 class, they're all 5 stars.
Right.
They're guys like Paolo Banchero, the Kennedy Chandler, Harrison Ingram. You look at a couple other guys like just some other center guys are going after it. Names are escaping me, but all the guys are really going after right now in this cycle are all 5 stars. And I looking at what the rankings are in, like, I guess, modern recruiting era from like 2003 to now on 247 Sports, counting, I think it was Josiah Jordan James from the 2019 class, I think like 3 of Tennessee's top 8 or 9 all-time recruits from 2003 to now have signed under Rick Barnes. I mean, that's incredible.
Man,
that's like, I think it's at least a third of the highest rated guys have signed under Barnes. So as excited as I am, the other people are for the future of football. Basketball, to me, I am pumped. I'm not expecting this season for them to go out and win a championship necessarily, but I think they could definitely should and maybe could win, or maybe should win the SEC title, and I think they should be one of the best teams in the SEC and one of the maybe top 10 teams in the country, and I think it's not going to go away anytime soon when you look at how this staff is recruiting with Rick Barnes, with Kim English, and those guys, and with their the relationships they have built for the future with this program.
Well, my man, as always, love having you on. The coming weeks, it means more in this conference, so we'll definitely be touching base with you here relatively soon. But as always, thanks for the updates, and Nate, thanks for taking time out here on the Hill.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That was Nathaniel Rutherford of the Rocky Top Insider. The guy knows all there needs to be known when it comes to Tennessee Vols recruiting. I'm telling you, Demetrius does a great job. But now it's time to get on the bus, because we said they don't stop watching, and we don't stop either. We got to get to Suffolk, Virginia, King Fork High School, or we got to talk to 2022 newly Arkansas offered by Eric Musselman and staff. Jayden Epps, the point guard, is up next. It's on the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a moment.
Chicken and waffles. What's a good place I can get some chicken and waffles? I know. KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. Get on down there and see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that love. And like they say on their building, it's not your mama's. The best chicken and waffles in the South. They even got chicken wings. And they got these things called loaded fries. I think you might want to get on down there. Meet me down there or see me down there. KDK's Chicken at 989 Razorback Road.
Welcome back to our Wednesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479. And real quick, before we get to our next guest, a very special guest here momentarily, want to give a shout out to all those that make this possible. With that being said, Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and the one that I always love telling everybody about, KDK's Chicken. It's down at 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith Keith, Kathy, get a plate of that love. And like it says on the building, it's not your mama's, but we added this, the best chicken and waffles in the South. Meet us there or beat us there. That's KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. But Coach Eric Musselman signed a what you would call a national class in the 2020 bunch, but that's not going to stop him as he, Coach Crutchfield, Mosier, and Williams, and that entire Razorback staff are looking to improve the locker room each and every year. And what better way than to look a couple of years on down the road and head to Suffolk, Virginia, King Fork High School, and offer one of the best in that class, 2022 point guard, Jayden Epps. J.E., welcome to OTH.
Was good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jayden, talk about your recruiting process heading into your junior year. Quite the pickup, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. My recruiting process heading into my year has really picked up this year because last year I was getting offers like kind of on and off, but where they really picked up like my sophomore year going into my junior year.
Jayden, what do you think has been the cause of this sudden boom in recruiting, and how much do you attribute that to the EYBL circuit that you get to play on each and every year, and the brand of basketball that you face in the state of Virginia?
Me just working hard, basically. All my hard work paying off. I knew I was gonna see this time like this with me getting a lot of scholarships and stuff like that. And me just continue to stay humble and continue to work hard, stay level-headed. And me playing on the circuit, UIB, and all the competition I play against, it only makes me better. So just me continuing to work hard and just dominating the competition.
There at King Fork High School, you're at it. You're asked to be kind of a leader at such a young age, Jayden. How do you handle that part of your game there for your high school team?
So whatever my team needs at the time, like however they need me to lead, like as far as if they need me to lead in scoring, they need me to lead in being a vocal leader in defense, I'll be that type of leader for whatever I got to do to get us to win.
Who are some of the schools right now, Jayden, that's showing you a lot of, what you call on social media, love in the recruiting game? Who are some of those schools that you hear from quite often?
I have quite often from Florida, Virginia Tech, VCU, Texas A&M. I just started hearing from Arizona a couple days ago. I hear from Pittsburgh, schools like that mostly.
Now, when you sat down and you looked at Arkansas, Coach Musselman and that staff, Coach Musselman having coached, multiple levels of the NBA, Mosier with the Lakers, Coach Williams played, at the NBA, Earl Boykins, and then you look at Crutchfield. How much of just the experience that they have on that bench, how much will that play a factor as far as Arkansas is concerned going forward?
Yeah, it will play a big factor because they have a lot of people around that's been where I want to get in my future. So I want to be around people that has been and done stuff that I want to do. So if they have a lot of people that have been to the NBA, then they know how to get there. They know what it takes, and they know how it is when you get there. So that's the type of people I want to be around.
Talking with 2022 point guard Jayden Epps of King Fork High School in Suffolk, Virginia. Now you and I have a mutual friend. I think a coach that you may know is a former Razorback. And Coach Stephen Welsh. Talk about that relationship and, just how much of a mentor Coach Welsh is to you and kind of, how does he help you throughout this recruiting process?
Coach Stephen, I'm very close with him. Me and my dad built a strong relationship with him. My brother even had a relationship with him when he was in AU basketball, high school, and stuff like that. But he helped me throughout the recruiting process a lot. He vouched for me a lot. He helped me a lot. Like, we have a real close relationship. Like, I look at him as another brother.
How excited was he to find out, Jayden, that you were offered by his alma mater?
I was very excited because me and him, we always talked about it. How he went there. He was a real good player. So me and him always talked about it. And when they offered me, it was very exciting.
You have a particular style of play, or you want to be in an open pace with space, more of a half-court scheme, or you're just one of those versatile athletes. Basketball styles are just basketball once you get out on the floor, Jayden. How do you look at that?
I look at teams that like to get out and run, like get the rebound, get out and run, and they just let the guards play their game, get the big man involved, and basically just play in the floor of the game.
Now I'm up in Suffolk at King Fork High School. I'm out there with my popcorn and my soda pop. What type of ball player am I looking at in JE for them 4 periods once that ball is thrown up?
You're looking at somebody who's just trying to win. I do whatever it takes to win. So I'm gonna put on a show for you. I'm gonna score the ball. I'm gonna play defense. I'm gonna lead my teammates, and we're gonna put on the show.
I'm going to describe a word, and you finish this word for me. Leadership. What does that mean to you?
Leadership means just making your teammates better, making them push themselves in practice every day, making them push themselves in the game. Never take it easy on them, and leading them to teach them how to win. Like teach them to do whatever it takes to win, because that's the overall goal of the game.
Now, that was a great answer, but we got to have a little fun, because I'm an OG, and you up there in Virginia, so I know there's some good vibing going on. We're at Club Jayden Epps. The first 5 songs on the playlist in the club, what am I going to hear?
You probably going to hear NBA Youngboy, Red Rum, Lil Baby All In, Dub Baby Rockstar, J. Cole, Neighbors, and Meek Mill, 1942.
See, nobody benches Meek Mill. I like this one song called Green Goblin. I don't know if you ever heard that one by Meek Mill. Hey, that was jumping, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, I want to thank you for taking time out, Jay, and I know you probably got to get to the lab, get some workout in, but I'm going to make a statement, and I want you to finish this for me if you would. When basketball is all over with, you've played collegiately, professionally, and you're done with basketball for that part of your life, what will Jayden Epps of Suffolk, Virginia, be doing with life after basketball?
So me and my brother and my dad, we all are big on business. Like, we all want to have our own business. My dad already has his own plumbing business, so when I go to college, I know that I'm a major in business and being an entrepreneur also. So I think that in my life after basketball, I'm going to be a businessman, entrepreneur, and things like that.
Well, Jayden, I loved having you on, J.E. This won't be the last time you're on the show, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, our line is your line, our show is your show. Hey, have a great junior year, and hopefully you guys can get in some type of basketball if this COVID pandemic can allow it. But thanks for taking time out, man, and you have a blessed day, Jayden.
You too, man. No problem.
That was 2022 point guard Jayden Epps of Suffolk, Virginia. King Fork High School, the 2022 guard Demetrius. I'm talking about it, a player, basically. And when you have a former alum that's basically been a mentor, you kind of feel good about it going forward. Maybe not to get, but just to be in the mix if you're Coach Mustard's staff for this young man.
Definitely. He's just an absolute baller. He can do it all. Nice shot, nice dribble. I think he can be a great asset to the Razorbacks.
Well, we got another guy that they hope can be a really good asset, and he's just a couple of hours up the road. Chris Crutchfield is working this one, and so many other people. It's going to be a borderline battle, I believe, but this guy will tell you about it. It's Trey Alexander. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a moment.
Obviously, geographically, it makes a ton of sense. Makes great sense from a recruiting standpoint. Strength of schedule. Playing a Big 12 team in a neutral site is great. And, again, I just think from a travel standpoint, it's good for our student athletes because it's so close to Tulsa. It's also great for our fan base as well.
Bob, you want to get us started?
Sure. Eric, I know you worked for Lon Kruger at Atlanta. Did you guys have a prior relationship, or what's the backstory on you going to work with him in Atlanta, and how was that for you?
Yeah, I loved working for Coach Kruger. I mean, he, he's forget all the basketball stuff. He's just a really, really great human being. I didn't really know him before working, with him with the Hawks, and now he's actually become close with my wife Danielle because of the Coaches versus Cancer stuff and her involvement in that, and his involvement in that. But at the Nike retreat stuff that the coaches have, he and his wife, I've known him for so long, and actually when Kevin, his son, was in high school, we used to play one-on-one even before and after practices. So great family, and he had called about this
Welcome back, welcome back. It's our Wednesday edition of OTH here on KDSJ 479, Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And yeah, we're going to continue on with the Hog Eye segment because we told you and we'll continue to tell you they don't stop watching and neither will we. We're going to bring it to you as only OTH knows how to. And we're going to continue on with Eric Musselman because the Razorback basketball team, they got a buzz going on. It started with this 20 class, but hearing a lot of good things and, a lot of interesting big-time prospects in that class, and one just a little ways across the line up in Oklahoma City at Heritage High. So let's go ahead and bring him in from Heritage Hall, 6'5", shooting guard, Trey Alexander. TA, welcome to OTH.
Thank you for having me.
Trey, get off into this recruiting process. Had a chance to see you last summer after warm-up over at Fayetteville High with your EYBL team, Team Griffin. You guys went on to have quite a tremendous summer with that team. I believe you won the 16U EYBL. But, how has the recruiting process gone from your summer circuit to high school leading into your senior season?
Oh, it's started to take off, honestly. Like it's been such a blessing to sit back and just seeing that a lot of the work that I put in has been able to start showing, and college coaches are starting to show interest in it, and it means a lot that I've been able to get interest in offers from a lot of schools that I didn't even think that I'd be able to get from in the beginning. But it's just been skyrocketing from summer ball, from Peach Jam to now, and it's been a blessing. That's all I can say.
Everybody talks about, in relationships. That's what it's about in sports. Your dad being a summer coach, and your dad's a trainer as well, and the relationships that he's built with so many players and coaches. I've had a chance to watch him work. Talk about the relationship when we go back to recruiting with Coach Chris Crutchfield at the University of Arkansas. You go back a long way with Coach Crutch. Talk about that relationship and how it has developed because, instantly when Crutch took the job here at Arkansas, you made an unofficial visit last summer. Talk about that relationship and just what that means to you.
Yeah, Coach Crutch has always been my guy. He's been a great coach that I've always looked up to highly. And ever since he was at OU, I think I knew him at OU before I even knew his son. And me and his son played one summer of basketball together. But, our bond continued to grow as he was at OU, staying in touch and everything. And then he told me he was going to get the Arkansas job. And so he was talking about how he wanted to get me down there, get an unofficial, and be able to meet the coaching staff and everything like that. And ever since, our bond has just kept going up and up and up. And it's been great to have a coach like that that's always been there, like since I think it was my freshman year. That I've been talking to since my freshman year. That I've been talking to Coach Crutch, and our relationship has just gotten better over the years.
What did you see from Arkansas from afar this season that piques your interest even more so? And then having after you came over and had a chance to meet this staff like Coach Williams, Mosier, and Boykins, and the entire staff, what is it that excites you, and what sticks out about this program in Fayetteville?
First off, the first thing the coach must bring up to me was player development and coach's relationship. That's a big thing for me, even from and I knew that Coach Muss was a great coach before I even took an unofficial to Arkansas. I know that he's had time in the league. He's been in the D League, stuff like that. But so he knows what he's doing is my main thing. He knows how to get players to the next level. He knows what it takes to get to the next level. And that's a big thing for me, is me trying to take my game to that next level. He's been he's been taking big strides into trying to get me he's been breaking down plays, been trying to get me to see myself in the offense, telling me how he could see me in the offense and everything like that. And it shows a lot that he has a lot of interest in me. And the college itself, I feel like they're building something that's going to turn into something big out in Arkansas. They have a great 2020 class, and I feel like there are going to be definitely some people in the 2021 class that will be going to Arkansas as well. And it's starting to spike.
When you look at where you're at, sitting right there in Oklahoma City, right, it's smack dab in between the two major Power 5 schools there at OSU and OU. how difficult is it, TA, to deal with the everyday pressure? Because I mean, I know what you go through in the area, but how do you and your dad and the entire family, how do you go about handling that on a daily basis?
Honestly, that's all I hear everywhere I go. Like everybody wants me to go to OU, OSU, and everybody's always asked me like, do I have a preference between OU, OSU? Is it something that's been bothering me? Like, do I have to pick between two schools? And honestly, it hasn't been that hard. Like, I always told myself that I've always wanted to go out and find and be able to achieve my dreams, whether it be in state or out of state. It does not matter. Being at home has nothing to do with my recruiting process. Just because I was born and raised in Oklahoma, Midwest City, all of that, like it has nothing to do with my recruiting process. I've always told myself that if I will have to leave home, then I will. But if I feel like my best option is to stay home, then I will do that. But everybody has been on my family about me staying at OU or going to OSU, and my family has just been taking it well. Mostly me and my dad, because me and my dad know a lot of people in the basketball community,
Right.
and they definitely try to pressure us into going to OU, OSU. But me and my dad, we have a very small circle, so really those people are just people outside of the circle, just looking from the outside in, and it's really not.
I'm
And
gonna
it's really
pose.
not.
I'm gonna pose a scout, TA, and I got to come to Heritage Hall because I got to play you in a couple of days, so I got to keep an eye on you. What's the scouting report when I leave that I've got to take back to my team? If you just care to just shed a little light, not maybe the key parts, but if you're a scout, what would you say about Trey Alexander?
I would say that he's a winner. He's nothing more, nothing less. He's always done whatever it takes to win, whether it be go get 20 rebounds and have 10 points, whether it be you have to you're getting double teamed. He's getting double teamed all game. He has to have 20 assists or anything like that. I feel like me as a player, I've always been just a winner, and that's been something that my dad has instilled in me since I was younger. Like everybody can say they did this or that, but people only remember winners at the end of the day. And I've always seen myself as a scorer, but I count myself as a winner. So whatever it takes for me to win, that's exactly what I'll do at the end of the day, whether it be score, rebound, pass, play defense, whatever it is.
Who's some of the NBA or collegiate players that you like to watch, TA, and kind of take parts of what they do maybe and implement them into what you do each and every Tuesday and Friday night?
I'm such a big Kyrie fan and a Kevin Durant fan. Of course I was kind of salty when KD left Oklahoma, but I've always looked at KD as one of the best scorers to ever play the game. I've always looked at him that way, and I see ways that he gets to his shot, not just how the shot goes in. My dad's always told me that you have to look at how they get to the shot, because if you get an open shot, then you're going to make it. But it's all about how you get to your spots and find those spots. And I think Kevin Durant is one of the best scorers in the game. I feel like Kyrie Irving is a person that knows how to break down the defense either by dribbling. He knows how to do everything well on the offensive end of the court. And of course, people like Kobe. I've always looked at Kobe. I've always looked at Michael Jordan. And I love the way that they know how to use their body and footwork to find open shots. Tracy McGrady is the big guy that I always looked up to in his prime, being able to score in different type of ways. And collegiately, I love watching Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards was a big person that I loved to watch in college. That's in the college. I loved watching the Isaac. I love watching Isaac from Auburn. I love watching those type of guys, kind of like big guards that know how to score and impact the game. But yeah, that's about it.
Who are some other universities, Trey, that really stick out to you right now? I know Oklahoma and Arkansas, due to in-state and the relationship that you have with Coach Crutch here at Arkansas. But who are some of the other schools that are recruiting you and showing you the love the hardest right now?
Kansas is showing me a lot of love. Kansas has always they've been on top of me since my sophomore year, and they just offered me this past year But they've been on it. Kansas has been on it. Wake Forest has been on it. Ole Miss has been on it really hard. I know Texas A&M, they've been on it hard. Georgia has been on me. I know that. I'm trying to think.
You got so
Texas,
many of them.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to like think of everybody because it's starting
Right.
the process is really starting to get overwhelming. But I just try to like take my time with it. But
Now-
yeah, it's starting to
Talking with
up.
Trey Alexander of Midwest City, Heritage Hall High School there in the Oklahoma City area, big time 4-star. I call him a 5-star 2021 shooting guard. So if you're listening, all you services, give this man the fifth star. He deserves it. We're riding around town, TA, there at Midwest City. I'm old, probably around your dad's age. I need to know the first 5 songs on your playlist in Club TA that I get to check out.
First 5 songs on my playlist. Right now, if it's just me chilling right now, I'm a big Rod Wave fan right now. I don't know if you know who that is, but
Yeah.
Rod Wave, that's my guy. I've been listening to his album. That like any song on that album is fire. Is that album is just goated right now. but if it's pregame, I think Lil Baby is real hot right now, so I'm gonna have to go with something like I'm gonna have to go with Emotionally Scarred. I'm gonna have to go with Catch the Sun.
That's 3.
And then I don't know. It might be all Little Baby songs. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey, that'll
And
work. That'll
probably
work for me.
Marjorie, Sleepwalking, something like that.
All
I'm a big music guy. I'm a very big music guy.
Well, last question. We got about a minute left. Thanks for taking time out here, Trey. I know you got a busy schedule. You'll probably be getting to the lab here shortly with your dad, Steve. But I want you to complete the statement. When basketball is finally done with, when you played collegiately, professionally, and you're done with your playing side of basketball, you've hung the shoes up, what will Trey Alexander of Midwest City Heritage Hall High School be doing with the second part of his life after basketball?
Ooh, it's definitely gonna have to be something with basketball. I feel like I just can't get away from it. So, probably something like sports media, something like that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Definitely could do something like sports media or something that has to do with I don't know. I'm pretty good at math. Probably something like that, but. I would definitely want to do something with sports media after basketball or coach or something like that.
Well, Trey, my man, hey, this can't be the last time. Let's keep in touch, and maybe how about we get you on OTH at least once or twice within the basketball season just to get a TA update. You up for that?
Yes, sir, definitely.
All right, Trey. Well, hey, you have a blessed one, my man, and, hey, good luck on your senior year, and try to get that chip this year, all right?
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you.
That was 2021 shooting guard and a major prospect. I'm talking about major, Demetrius. 6'5.5", peaking toward that 6'6". Kind of looks like when you watch Trey, almost looks like you're watching Isaiah Joe out there on the basketball court. Talk about what you've seen before we close this thing out.
Just to be a smooth player, just a guy that knows how to really get to the rim. Like I said, I like his game. It's just fluid, and I can see Musman really taking his athleticism and developing him into a professional athlete.
Oh, absolutely. And then, with Jayden Epps, once again, when you look at these two players, one in the 21 and one in the 2022 class, what does that say about Coach Musselman and that staff, Crutchfield, Mosier, Coach Williams, and that entire program going forward?
Really, that they have themselves the eyes set on the championship. To me, when you look at the caliber of players that they're going after, they're going after high caliber profile players that could potentially go to the G League. So to me, it looks like they're definitely going after NBA talent and definitely going to try to compete at the highest level and to compete in the big tournament.
Well, we want to give a shout out to all of our guests. I mean, all of our guests, with Nathaniel Rutherford of the Rocky Top Insider giving us the Tennessee update. They got things really on the uptick on the hardwood and on the grass. I'm telling you, Neyland Stadium's about to pick it up. And the Hogs got them coming here this year. Man, it's going to be quite the game, quite the talent. We'll see how that goes because it's going to be a lot of recruiting battlegrounds, I think, between the orange and the cardinal red and white for the future going forward. And then we want to give a thank you to 2022 point guard Jayden Epps of Suffolk, Virginia. King Fork High School, the point guard came on, newly offered point guard by Coach Musselman and staff. Had quite a bit to say, and I'm telling you, the talent level, it only shows why this young man's going to have a lot more options. He's got 2 years, but Arkansas and that staff are sure going to put their best foot forward in hopes that he'll consider them in the end. And then lastly, the guy over across the border from Midwest City in the Oklahoma City area, he goes to Heritage Hall High School, the 6'5.5" shooting guard, the 4-star major prospect. Coach Crutch and that staff are really putting a lot of energy into hoping Trey calls Fayetteville home here in a few more months. Trey Alexander. I want to give a thank you to him for coming on. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors, as this wouldn't happen without you guys. Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location in Rogers. Locomotion, it's located in just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall. Corey Beck's Custom Painting and that good one. KDK's Chicken, it's down at 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith and Kathy, get a plate of that love, and like it says on the building, not your mama's, the best chicken and waffles in the South. I added that, or we added that. Meet us there or beat us there. That's down at 989 South Razorback Road. KDK's Chicken. From my producer, Demetrius Johnson, to you all, continue to support. We'll be back with much, much, much more tomorrow. We're going to bring it to you. We won't stop. I'm telling you. It's been On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one, and let's get it.
Team God.